Hi, everyone. It's Lisa Brown with InkandInspirations.com. Thank you for joining me for this week's premiere video. We're going to be looking at a simple technique using pattern paper strips that you can use all of your scraps that you have on hand. And these are just 1-inch strips, and I think you're going to enjoy this and want to do it yourself. So I'm going to be using a new stamp set from the annual catalog, and I'll show you some more samples at the end of the video. So let's get started. All right, here we go. So the stamp set that we're using today is Courage and Faith. I love this stamp set with the scripture verses and the beautiful framed flourishing pieces, and just how versatile it really is. And I was so excited to see this set in the catalog. It was one of the first ones on my list when it opened up. So super excited about that. But so let me show you where it is in the catalog. On page 72, here at the top, it's a cling mount set. And it's just really beautiful. It's a good companion to this Hope and Prayer stamp set down here that is a carryover. And the designer paper I'm using in the sample today is this big stack of paper. It's delightfully eclectic. It's 48 sheets, 4 each of 12 double-sided designs. And the patterns are just so very different. But I found 4 that I could use that would coordinate really well for this project that I'm making today, and I think you're going to like it. So I'm going to show you the card here, and we're going to get started. Okay, so here is the card we're making today. Isn't that pretty? And look at these 1-inch strips. And you may have tried this before. I've done several strip techniques. This one I have not done at this angle, and I really like the effect behind this stamped image. So let's get started. I have a piece of Night of Navy cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 11. And for some reason, my little Post-it got misplaced. So I'm going to do this so you can have that. And we're going to score it in half at 5 1/2. So I'm going to get my paper trimmer in here, line that up right on that line. Be sure you use the light gray scoring blade so you don't cut through, and fold it in half. So that is going to be ready to go. Now let's prepare that designer paper strip. I'm going to start with this 4 3/4 by 3 1/2 piece of basic white. And I have chosen these 4 patterns. You can use 4, you can use 3, you can use 5, whatever you like with the look. Okay, so you can pick similar colors, you can go very different. It really doesn't matter, just as long as it's pleasing to your eye. I would cut them about 6 inches long for this size of a base. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to spread these out diagonally just to see the feel. And do you see how I have a dark background and then light background? And then here's another light background, and then I'm going to alternate again down here. Okay, so I have spaces here and here. Don't worry about that. We can fix that. But I'm going to shift it just a little bit and see that I have about the same amount on both opposite corners. So I am thinking I like that, and so I'll show you how I fill these in just a minute. So I'm going to take and make sure I've got my spacing like I want, and I'm going to put some glue down. I like to put it down on the base. And I know I just need a little bit of a strip. and that'll get me started. Okay. All right. Could have moved that up a little more, but that's okay because we're going to trim off that excess. So I have a funny story. This video is pre-recorded because at the time it goes live, I am at my daughter's house in the Fort Worth area, and we have some things planned. So I am here watching the video with you. So if you have comments or questions, I can respond. But when I went to record this video last week, I accidentally went live. And that's like, my goodness, Lisa, how did that happen? Okay, I see where I have not gone and covered the white with that strip, so I'm pulling it up. Okay, and that's the beauty of the liquid glue. It gives you some wiggle room. Okay, so I wanted to be sure it covered the diagonal there, and I have some to cut off. Okay, so that's going to be okay there. Put some glue down and lay it down. And I'm sure everyone has their own order and placement for this, but this is just what works for me. Okay, so you see we have that. Now we're going to flip it over, and we're going to take our paper snips, and we're going to just slide it along that basic white base and snip off the excess. And now I'm going to come up this side. So anyway, back to the oops I did. It's like I went live, hello, and it's like there was one person watching, and I thought, I am not supposed to be live. This was recorded on a Saturday afternoon, and it's like, okay, Lisa. So anyway, here I am today with the project, and I'm going to show you some really fun parts too. All right, so now we have that. Now I know since I have a light background here, I'm going to want dark over here. So I'm going to pick this one since it's going to be pretty far opposite, and that's going to be glued there. Dark, and I want light, and I love this floral with that beautiful bubble bath pink. I always want to say bubble gum because it reminds me of bubble gum. Okay, let's do this. So you see how you can use these scraps, and so even if you have some small pieces like this of the patterns that you'd like to use, it can be also, you can use them for the ends, you know, the diagonal ends. Okay, now we have that. So let's flip it and snip off that excess. Okay. And again, and I try not to trim any of the white off. So I'm just letting the scissor blades just slide along the edge there. So has anyone tried this technique before? I'm sure some of you probably have. I love it. It reminds me of a quilt, right? It's got that quilt look. Okay, so that is going to go there, but I want to layer that up to make it really stand out from that Night of Navy background. So this is what I decided. I have a 4 7/8 by 3 5/8 piece of navy, Night of Navy, and that is going to go directly behind. And I decided to do the 1/8 of an inch because I just wanted a little bit, and you see, if I would put that like that, you couldn't really see that. So I want to take another piece of basic white, 5 by 3 3/4, and I'm going to put it behind that. And you've got that scant little white border around it. We'll glue it all together. And now you see how if it just pops off the background of that card, really makes a difference. Real easy little addition to your card making there by just adding a contrasting layer before you add it to the base. So I'm going to give this a good burnish again, and then we're going to get this assembled, and we will do our stamped image last. Okay, so here's my quilt piece, I'll call it. And just going to put that there. All right. Now let's add it to the contrast, which in this case is basic white, which goes really well because of the white background on that design, on those designer paper pieces. So this week we are at, like I said, we're in Fort Worth area, and my two granddaughters have their dance recital. So we're excited about that. And now that's going to layer over top, and I can go ahead and put that on because I don't have any wrapped ribbon treatment on this particular card. So let's go ahead and put that on the base, and it's going to be ready to go. Now for the inside, I like to take a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic, that's not it, Lisa, 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white, and take a strip of the paper and just add it to the inside. It's a very easy way. You know how you have strips after you've cut in major layers? Use those on the insides of your cards. That gives you plenty of room to write your message, and oh, I did it upside down, but I can use it that way. And you can also stamp a sentiment in there if you have to, but I'm going to leave this blank. So let's go ahead and put that on the inside. Okay. So that's ready. Let's set that aside. And I have decided, I played around with different sizes of dies for this particular image, and I decided to use this large circle from the Stylish Shapes dies collection. And I've already pre-cut that. And I'm going to use May the Lord Bless and Keep You, and then these two foliage frames. It's like a frame, it frames it out. So I'm using basic black because I'm going to be adding some color to that foliage. So I am just going to stamp this right in the center. I'm just eyeballing it. Okay, that's pretty good. It looks a little over to the left, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to take this and stamp it right there. And I'll show you another card with this stamp set, and I'm going to tell you how I decided to cut the paper for it when I show you. So here, I'm hoping that works. Pretty good. All right. I have a little bit of a ghosting there, but I'm not going to worry about it. Let's stamp this other side. So you see you get two of the same mirror, the mirror image of each stamp, so that you can use it to frame out your sentiment, the scripture. Okay, so let's try that. Pretty good. Looks pretty good. All right, so we're going to say that's a go. And now I chose a green. This I just happen to have my Granny Apple Green, and then my Daffodil Delight. No, Dark Lemon Lolly. This is Dark Lemon Lolly, one of the new colors. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to use the bullet tip. You could use Daffodil. I just grabbed a yellow, and I'm just coloring in the little berries, little circles. Now I'm going to take dark Granny Apple Green, And I believe the color green in the designer paper is Lemon Lime Twist, but I don't have that one yet. So I need to get that on my next order, some more of the Stampin' Blends. Okay, so I'm just doing the little outlines, and this takes a little bit of time, but it really adds to it. Now I'm going to do the stems. Just follow the black line, even on the little berry pieces. Okay, let's do this one. And that's ready to go, I think. Nope, my little berries. Okay, that's good. So now I'm going to take the light Granny Apple and use the brush tip and just fill in these leaves. I love to color with my blends, and these are really easy images to color. And I've used the other little branches on a different card that I'll show you. Okay, almost done here. All right, so we've got that ready to go. And now I'm going to put that there. Look how pretty that looks with that background. So I'm going to get some Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're going to pop this up a little bit on the card base above our little strip quilt. All right. Pull these off. Press in the middle. Comes off much easier. Okay, let me put that in the center, just eyeballing it top to bottom. And then I have a little loopy bow tied with our linen thread. Put that right there. Okay, and then for our little embellishments, I'm using our brushed brass butterflies. So let's see, I'm using a little one up here, and one of the larger ones here, and then I'm going to take another small one and put it right here. Okay, isn't that pretty? Don't you love it? And such a simple technique, right? Okay, let me show you some other samples using this strip technique. Okay, here's my little ladybug. This paper, does anybody recognize this paper? It's the flip side of the Zoo Crew paper. That Zoo Crew with all the little animals on it. This one, you know, with all the little animals. The back side are all black and white patterns. Talk about versatile. And I love black and white with the ladybug. So I've just got that punched out, stamped, simple ribbon treatment. Okay, and let's see what I did on that side. Okay, so I'll be having these. You'll be seeing them later on where I have directions and all the recipes. Okay, here's another one that I used, Glorious Gingham. It's a 6x6 pad, and I use artistically inked and the artistic dies. That's beautiful, just really elaborate and delicate die in basic white on here. And I've got some iridescent rhinestones, and then I just fussy cut the sentiment from the artistically inked. Okay. All right. Then I want to show you, this is the one of my team members made. This paper is retired. Look at those blues. And look how she just angled the paper there instead of putting it straight on with this blue, the starry sky in the background. Now this paper was like the Prince, the Nature's Prince paper from the last catalog, but don't you think it would be beautiful with the Countryside Inn in those blues? I mean, gorgeous. Let's see, let me pull it out so y'all know. This paper? I think it would be beautiful with all those different blue and white prints. Okay, so those are some designs there. Now let me show you a few more cards made with this beautiful stamp set. So there's the one we made today. Here's another one with the very same stamped image, but there are no dies, no punches on this card. It's just cut layers. So what I did is I cut about a 4x4 square, okay, because I knew that would be big enough. And then I just kept trimming it down like 1/8 of an inch at a time until I got it the size that I wanted. I stamped all this in the center, okay, then just kept cutting it down. Then I layered it in the same way. I used the garden green behind it with the basic white behind that. This is some paper from, that's Daisy. Yeah, the Fresh as a Daisy. One of the back sides is that beautiful brushed look designer paper, okay, and just a twine bow there, okay. And then I have this one. This is one of the panels from the Fresh as a Daisy paper with the wild wheat. And I just stamped that in that wild wheat with Pretty Peacock. Use the wild wheat ribbon. Okay. And again, the same thing with the square. Okay. I kind of know now you need about a 3 1/4 inch square or a 3 1/8 inch square, something like that, to stamp one of the verses and then get the framing flourishes here on the side. Okay, and then one last one. This one is done with this paper. What is that? The gold, naturally gilded. This is only available online. Okay, it's got that very vanilla background, so I used a very vanilla base. And I use the deckled rectangles to cut this out, and I emboss the sentiment. And then I just use a bow and 3 of the festive pearls down here. Okay, so I know I'm going to be loving using these for my card ministry for church and for friends or, people you're praying for. These cards would be perfect. So I hope you will get that Courage and Faith stamp set a try. It's just really, really pretty, and I was really happy to see it. So let me get back over here. And thank you so much for watching. If you've watched the replay, I appreciate you being here. If I can help you with anything, let me know. Visit my website at inkandinspirations.com, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.